Hey guys, what is up? It is SuttyTrades here, and we are currently the 7th of Jan, and we have started the plan. The plan has officially started. I signed up for my Forex funds yesterday, took my first trade, and we are currently up on that one. So a good start. But before I go into that, I will show you the trade I took. But before I get into that, I just want to just go back over the trial, because I know the last time I finished, we were like pushing for that the pass on the trial. And basically, I think it was the day before yesterday, the 6th, I think it was the 6th or the 5th of Jan, which was basically our last day to trade that trial account. I took one trade, and I think it was a small win, you know, nothing really happening. So I think I only traded, I think it was like a $50 lot size, so like a 0.5%. At that point, we were like just over $400, pushing for the 500. And I think I took a 1 to 2 with obviously taking my 50% at 1R. So it was a 1 to 1 basically. So we got about $50. So we were sitting about 450-ish, just over $450 up. And it just went really quiet the rest of the day. There was a lot of news that day. So there was news that was affecting, you know, market. It was no alerts coming through. You know, we were getting kind of closer to the end of the day. And then I kind of realized, I thought to myself, you know, if I'm taking my Forex funds, the pass on that account is 8% rather than 10%. So technically I'd already done what I need to do, you know, because I knew I was going into the My Forex funds. I knew that I wasn't taking the FTMO, because as part of my plan, the My Forex funds was the prop firm I had decided to take. So $450 on the trial, it was 8% for the 2 weeks, you know, because it's only you make half of the amount. So on the FTMO, you're looking for 5%, but on my Forex funds, that would be 4%. So I kind of already got to that point. So I thought to myself, okay, I've passed, you know, if I would have passed it on the my Forex, and there was nothing really happening. So I thought, you know what, let me just take this opportunity to try one of my older strategies, just to see, you know, just to see how it was the strategy that I actually used before. And I had passed one trial on that, but every challenge that I actually took, I either just got the free retake or ended up failing. And this was it's a much lower time frame scalping strategy, you know. And I remember when I was doing it, it was an okay strategy. There was win, and then when you lose lose big, okay? Just because of the nature of the strategy. And so many times I would, you know, win, and then I would lose, and I'd literally get to a point where I was either fail the account or just get back to the free retake. And I remember that strategy was a stressful strategy, you know, because you're always in the market, you're always literally watching every single move. So every time it goes against you, like, you know, you kind of lose your breath. It was like, oh. And I thought, let me just go back to that just to check, just so I know, and I kind of get in my mind that I am doing the correct, you know, where I am now, just solidify my my confidence in what I'm doing, you know. And thank goodness I did, because once I hit the 450 and I kind of said to myself, okay, this is the pass on the My Forex funds, let's just risk it and do one of my old strategies. And it went well initially. I think I went up a little bit, and then exactly what, you know, I was talking about. Okay, maybe I was risking too much on that strategy. You only have to risk, like on a $10,000 account, you should really only be risking 0.1 lot, and you're placing quite a lot of trades. It's kind of like you're always placing, you know, as price moves, you're placing a new order and waiting for it to turn. And then when it turns, you know, you collect your profits. Which when it works really well, but if that trend keeps going, it can hurt you. And I was taking 0.5 lot size, so I didn't really have much room to breathe. So I had a set number in mind that I was like, okay, I think 350, 400. If it gets anywhere near that, I'm just going to shut the things, and I would still have my free retake, you know, according to the FTMO. So, you know, even though in my head I've already passed my Forex funds, I was like, at least let me just still get the free retake, or potentially the pass to the thing. And exactly that happened. You know, I went, and then I just was fighting a trend, and it just brought me straight back to those days where I was like so stressed because I was stuck in a trend, trying to get out. And thank goodness it did go that way, because it just really made me realize how good my strategy is now, and how much less stress I trade under with this strategy, you know, because I'm going into every trade knowing my loss. Whereas with the other strategy, I didn't know my loss. You know, I had a set stop in my mind, but there's no stop losses. So you've always got to be, and it was stressful, man. I realized, like, okay, thank goodness and that was exactly why I searched for a new strategy, and I ended up stumbling across the order block strategy. And it just really kind of like solidified my confidence in this strategy, and made me kind of realize that, you know, this is the right strategy for me, because it's so much less stressful. You know, I trade with so much less stress than I used to trade with. You know, I remember before trading, I would just be like sweating, and yeah, I'd get the nice big wins sometimes, and I'd feel good about that. But so many times it would just not be worth it, you know, because you're literally just watching every movement of the market, and it's too stressful, man. With the strategy I'm using now, I know what I know what my loss is, and I'm prepared for it. You know, if it goes against me, I take the loss. So yeah, I'm really glad it kind of panned out that way, guys. But anyway, moving forward, we got the free retake on that. We would have got the pass on the My Forex Funds. So I was feeling good about going into the My Forex Funds challenge. So I have now, as I said before, I'm in the My Forex Funds. The real challenge, and my goal, according to my plan, if you guys haven't seen my 2-year plan video, how to take $85 to $1 million over 2 years, check it out, guys. I will put a little link here somewhere to check that out if you want to. The link will also be in the description to that video. But it's really interesting how true the saying is, and it was actually another trader that I follow that said this, and it's so true. It's not money that will get you money in trading. It's time. Money doesn't make money, and I know, you know, you need a lot of money to make money, you know, and that's my point. Is not everyone has that money. So I think that the best way to earn money is time. You know, just let your strategy work over a set period of time, and time will grow your account. Time grows accounts, not money, you know, because having the money there is fine, but you can lose the money if you're risking too much or whatever. But if you have a set strategy and you're very patient, and you just allow your balance to grow, it's that time that is getting your account to grow that you're then risking the same percent, but every time you're risking that percentage, it's actually a little bit more. So your win rate goes, not your win rate, how much you win is actually getting bigger and bigger. And over time, that just starts really getting bigger and bigger. And in my plan, that's the whole point, you know. So we are in step 1 of my plan, which is My Forex Funds, with the goal to pass this. And then we will use the live account. We will be looking for about 10% in the first month that we trade the live account to make enough money to buy into the second prop firm. I'm not going to go into too much detail, guys, but we're in. Day 1 went well. I'm looking for about $50 a day, and I'm only looking for 2% a week, you know, $200 in a week. So it's a little bit less. It's not quite $50 a day. Yesterday, got a nice trade. Let me just take you guys over to, okay, so this was the alert that came through yesterday. The 4-hour block was these two, because that one was so small, it was just like a doji candle. But probably it would have been better if we just drew up that candle, to be honest, because of where price actually pushed to. So that was probably the truer order block. But anyway, that's how it was drawn up and how we got the alert. So what I did is I found this area of support and resistance on the daily. So I knew price was going to come somewhere near there, which it did. It didn't quite tap into there, but it was close enough. There was this area of imbalance, but for me it was a bit high. I didn't really want to, and I think this candle initially pushed straight through it. So if we go to the 15-minute, yeah, price kind of pushed straight through there. So I mean, you could have taken a trade on there. So based on my strategy, I would wait for price to, let me just get price to push past. So I would have placed my order there, and at that point the EMA was, the ATR was 5 pips, so I would have looked for a 10 pip stop, which would have been there. So it still would have worked. Let me move this one out of the way. This was the actual trade. So as you can see, it would have still worked, guys. It would have pushed down, it would have come close to our area. We would have got the 1-to-1. We would have ended up getting our 1-to-3 from that. So that still would have worked if you took your order at the imbalance area there. Okay, I didn't do that. What I did is I went back to the 15-minute thing, and I actually found further down nearer. So I was looking at some area of interest nearer this daily support zone. Okay. And I found this really nice 15-minute OB that hadn't yet been tested. So if you're taking the full, some people take the full candle and they'll say, okay, it had been, but literally it would have just tapped the top of the wick there. I like to look at the body, okay? So I kind of marked this up and I said, if price comes into this area, I'm going to look for an order. And what I did is I actually dropped down to the 5-minute and waited for the price to come into that area, because I wanted to get a slightly tighter stop, because I only wanted my stop to be a little bit over that support area, okay? So what I ended up doing, because I know most people will probably be looking at placing their stops here, right? And that's obviously where the bigger money will look at taking you out. So I always look to put my stop a little bit further than that. So what I did is, on the 5, I think at this point on the 5-minute, the ATR was about 35. So we were looking about 7 pip stop, right? Double the 5-minute ATR was 7, and that was perfect. It basically put that support area in the center of my stop zone. And as you can see, it tapped in and then it just pushed up. Got my 1-to-1 fairly quickly, so I was risk-free on this trade. And then what I did on the, I think it was the 4-hour, I noticed that there was this kind of, start of a down trend. So we had this higher high there, lower, higher high. This is not yet a higher high because we haven't actually broken this, but I just drew this as a rough guide for roughly where I can look at getting my, thing. And I know normally I say I look for a 5, but what I tried yesterday, and I know I'm in an account, so why am I trying things? But I want to try and get the most I can out of each trade, okay? Because a lot of times I will close on the 5 or the 3R, and then it goes to like 6, 7, 8, and I'm like, I feel like, damn it, I've missed out, And I thought, how can I try and get these bigger amounts without risking, my overall win rate anyway? So what I did is I went to the 5-minute, and once I got a higher high, so this over here, I moved my stop. Let me just draw it in for you guys. I kept just trailing my stop, okay? So I moved the stop to there. It broke that, came back down, and then I think I moved my stop then, I think a little bit higher. I moved it under this low over here. And then price was dancing around, and this was my area that I was looking at. So I was looking at, okay, what's the nearest to that? I think it was a 6. So I looked for a 6R. On this one, I was like, okay, if this gets to 6R, I'll be happy. And that was, I knew that price was potentially going to turn around there because of this trend line I'd drawn in. I mean, I wasn't 100%, but I had an idea that, maybe price would turn around there. And there was also this, this area here, which would have been an order block on probably the hour or something. So I thought price is going to push up to somewhere around here. What's the risk ratio I can go for? So 6 was the nearest kind of like set number. So I was like, let me just push for 6, okay? And the whole time I was trailing. So at this point, even if price pushed back, I was on a 1.8. So it would have been 50% at 1, so 0.5, and then the 1.8, so it would have been like a 0.9. So I would have had like over 1.5 RR on that trade anyway. So, it's not a losing trade. It's not as much as I would want, but it's okay. And then price pushed up and got me the 1 to 6. So ended up playing out nicely. And I was a bit cautious with Euro USD as well, because if you look at the 4 hour, we're kind of in this range. We're kind of in this range here. So I didn't want to, I knew price is not going to be pushing. I wasn't looking for a huge amount, but 6 hours I was happy with that, because I'd actually pushed past the 5, and I considered closing it, but I thought, what, let's just see how this goes, because I think we can get a little bit more, and we did. So it ended up playing out quite nicely, guys. So so that was that trade. I'm not sure if I can, my Forex funds. Let me just show you guys. Okay, first off, let me show you, this was that FTMO. So as you can see, this is where we took a small win. We got to about 460. And it was at this point that I was like, you know what? We are, we're passing the My Forex funds now, guys. So if I could just stop there. So that was kind of my thinking, because it was the last day. There wasn't much happening. No alerts were coming through. So I thought, okay, let me just take this as a pass on the My Forex funds. So it gave me that confidence that, okay, I've passed the My Forex funds at this point, or I was at least on target. And let me try that other strategy. And this is obviously where that strategy and this is what happens with and this is why this right here, in terms of like all my losses with my strategy, by far the biggest loss. I think this was the previous biggest loss, which was about 200. This was about almost for a $400 loss. So, crazy. And that was like a $350, maybe $350 loss. So, I think I've chosen the right strategy. And this is the thing, you do not want to go into these prop firms with high risk strategies, A lot of people, want to just be trading as much as they can. But for me, it's too stressful. It's just not good for your trading psychology. It really isn't. And I remember I was so bummed out so many days, when I was using this strategy. I was more bummed out than I was positive. So it's just not worth it, guys. Okay, guys, we are back with a quick little update. It's later, the same day, still Friday. We haven't got to the NFP yet. That's in an hour. And I actually was specifically looking for trades on EURUSD, GBPUSD, because the idea is I wanted to find a nice setup. I wasn't just going to take a trade for the sake of taking a trade. I wanted to find a setup where I could hopefully get into a trade and get to my one-to-one and have a trade that's risk-free, and hopefully have that still running by the time NFP hits, so that we would potentially fly into like a 10R. That was the idea. But anyway, so let me quickly break it down. British pound looked good to me. British pound US dollar looked good to me because it was this nice uptrend. We have a 4-hour OB up there, so I kind of had the kind of feeling that we were pushing up towards that OB, right? So we had a nice trend here. We had our higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low. So when I drew this trend line today, there wasn't any. I was looking for a 4-hour OB. Like this one here would have been perfect, right? This one here would have been perfect. It would have tapped in like straight away there. This one would have been perfect, but we're going way back. Look how it like hits on perfectly on this trend line and pops up. I mean, this trend line was made as a result of that, so that's after the fact. But I couldn't find a 4 hour, so I thought, let me just see if there's any 1 hour. So I found a nice 1 hour OB on this pair. Right over there, guys, you see there's this. So I took both the red ones there because that one was quite a small one. So I took both reds, or actually this one, as my 1 hour OB, okay? And then what I did, price came in, tapped into the 1 hour OB. I found an area of imbalance. Let me get down to the 15, but it was right at the top of the 1 hour, and there was still a lot of stuff going on below the 1 hour here. So in my head, there was still a lot of kind of areas that price could potentially still push down to, right? There was all these wicks here. So I see all of this as sort of area that price can potentially come back and, so if I were trading this on the 1 hour OB, I would have probably been looking at having my stop like maybe below that. People would have been seeing some kind of trend line here, right? So what I was looking at was, is there anything towards the lower side of this 1 hour OB that I can look at? And when I went to the 5 minutes, still looking for some kind of area of imbalance, there was no imbalance here, apart from maybe this wick right at the bottom, but I didn't think price was going to push that far down, not at least straight away. I thought if it was going to, because look, that is on the trend line about there. So I thought what might happen is it's going to bounce off somewhere here first, and then it might retrace again to that point later. Which kind of seems like that's exactly what happened. So I did find this 5 minute OB over here that had not yet been, it was unmitigated OB on the 5 minute that I thought, okay, let's look at this, but instead of taking our entry at the top, we'll do it 50%, okay? And then look at obviously the ATR for our stop. And actually, while I was prepping everything, price shot straight down. So I was waiting for price to hopefully go past, because I like price to go past and then I place my order. So with this, basically, I pretty much had no drawdown. It came past, I then placed my order, and then it just shot up. I got the 1-to-1 very quickly. And I was actually looking at this red line up here was kind of where I was looking to take my final TP, which is about 6. I think it was 6R. But price was kind of playing around here for a little bit. I moved my stop loss. I was trying to follow my stop loss at the previous swing low, right? So as soon as we broke this area up here, I brought it up there as my next swing low. Price came down again. Actually, I ended up closing there just because I hit 1 to 5, and I was still kind of a little bit worried that price was going to come down still to test this area here, like a third. So it's like 1, 2. I was expecting it to come down and maybe tap into this area again. So I was a little worried that it was going to stop me out, or at least give me less profit. So I thought, you know what? Don't be greedy. It was still way before NFP. So for me to hold the whole time until NFP hits, there's a good chance I was going to actually get stopped out. With this stop that I pushed into this area here, which still would have been a profit, but it would have, I probably would have only got like a 0.8 R. So I ended up closing this, and I think it was about a total of just over $60 profit. So, still I think a 2.5 R profit. So, you know, not bad at all. Kind of what I'm looking for anyway. And we're currently sitting at, I think, a little over $150 profit, okay? So second day in, and we're $150 up. Considering, you know, I'm only really looking for 2% a week, I'm sitting on 1.5% gain within 2 days. So I'm very happy with how things have gone. You know, it will be kind of annoying if this starts pushing up. We get to NFP around here somewhere and it just skyrockets up to here somewhere. Because I was actually, apart from this, I was actually looking at these higher highs over here, which would have been like the high on the 1 hour. I was actually looking at something like this all the way up here, right? Like there. I was looking at something like that. Now that would have been, it was like I was hoping to get a 1 to 10 if I stayed in for the NFP. But you know what? I thought, you know, I've got the 1 to 5, which is kind of what I target. It's a Friday. Just get out, you know, get out while you're ahead. I wasn't risking any, you know, I had nothing to lose at that point, apart from, you know, the little bit I'd gained. But in terms of an actual loss, I wouldn't have lost, because even if it came down to here, it still would have been like a 0.7, 0.8 R. So not the end of the world there, guys. But all right, there we go, guys. So we are currently sitting at 158 profit, okay, 1.5% up, okay. We took a 1.6% today. I mean, we're still sitting on 100% win rate, okay, so lots, we've only traded 0.6, oh, that was per day, okay, never mind. Let's see our trading history. Here we go, guys. I mean, that's a pretty clean sheet at the moment, you know. I'm very happy with that, very happy with that. So this one for some reason says the profit was 1170. So again, I think with the commission, it's just cutting into my, you know, I want to be around 1250 on that one, to be honest. So I've got to try and look at that. Yeah, I've got to try and close, I think, my first at like 1.2 R, maybe I should look at that from now on, just so I know that we've definitely got that, you know, 50% exactly right with commission. But looking pretty good, guys, you know. It honestly could not have started any better. 2 days into the challenge, we're 1.5% up. So, you know, let's hope that next week continues the same. Let's hope we can continue with this momentum. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to quickly give you a quick update as to where we are. So far, so good, guys. Looking forward to next week. Have a good weekend, guys, and we will catch you next week. Bye for now.